Hello everyone, I am Xerix Lord Sentinel, and welcome back to Century of Economy. The Spanish start things off by sending one-handed John back to the pirate home island, where the carnage will begin to repair. The captured Acorazado is dismasted. The Spanish have a mind to reclaim their former ship. The Algeciras and others sink what was left of the Yankee. The Spanish fall upon the Americans like a tidal wave. Leading the way for them is the Grand Temple, supported by the freshly repaired Trinity. The Mano de Dios attacks the Saratoga, while the USS Pearl has been reduced to a fire mast. The Pearl is sunk by the Acorazado. The Santissima Trinidad has emerged from her whirlpool, and sets her sights upon the battle. She has an additional 15 cannons that have been added to her original 5. Her ability to eliminate 2 masts in one hit makes her even more of a deadly foe, now that the house rule has been lifted. Behind her, you can see the Premier Caballero emerging from the same whirlpool. The Fuerza de Dios takes the far side of the battle zone. The Viking longships could be a devastating force, if they get the first shot in, however. The fears of the Americans are realized, as the Flying Dutchman slams into the Bonhomme Richard and succeeds at her broadsides attack against the colony, leveling it in one swoop. The Divine Dragon sinks the Providence. The Black Watch may be controlled by the Spanish now, but the Curse will think she's still American. The Baraki Priadak surfaces, and attacks the Viking hires off of Pyramid Island. Alas for the Cursed, no damage is done, leaving the shark wide open. Lurching forward, the Auschwan moves toward the Americans' dock at the Pyramid Island. Elek and the Skinflare damage the Vikings off of Kanohi Island. Due to time constraints and the longships being fragile, I didn't take their masts out when they were damaged. The Americans are in a tough spot, with no real chance now of taking the fight to the Spanish. Nonetheless, they prepare to fight on. Fighting crew are required for the ships of the fleet admirals, Preble, Rogers, and Pike, in addition to the Milo Akuo, and fighting crew for some of the gold runners that must be converted over into fighters. Seeing an opportunity, the pirates surge south, with the Eagle, Fool's Gold, and Raven's Neck smashing into the American lines, sinking the Ragnarok and damaging the Gold Eagle in Boston. More pirate ships sail into American waters, with the Zeus leading the way. She takes the Constitution down to 2 masts standing. Calypso has created 2 more whirlpools, and the pirates have arrived. Several of their capital ships have traveled through the whirlpools, and a few ships are making the long trip from their posts at Tutorial Island and the Devil's Maw. At their home island, the pirates launch the Windcatcher Mystic. They have a plan for the Americans, one that the Americans won't like. The Ark Royal and Resistance attack the Coron, taking her down to 2 masts. In the bottom right, you can see a number of ships have fled into the same fog bank. Succeeding at her SAT, the Argonaut takes the fight to the English for the first time, and sails through a whirlpool, emerges and blasts away at the Titan. The English have tried to sink the ship quickly, but only managed to take her down to 2 masts. With the lifting of the house rule, combat is flying, and ships take damage much more quickly than before. The English and French continue to swing back and forth, with one seeming to have the upper hand, only to have their efforts undone a turn later. The French attempt to use the whirlpools placed by the pirates to their advantage, and have met with mixed success so far. The Monarch has taken damage from the Burma, but is still in reasonably good condition. The St. James dismasts the Glory. The Premier Republique looks on, waiting for a chance to strike back. The Hercule is dismasted inside the portal. The Nautilus slips in between her and another English ship, and sinks the Hercule. The Hercule going down opened up room for more English ships to get into French waters. The English take care of the Argonaut, dismasting her. The Terror submarine will be much more difficult to deal with. The Botany Bay is given a second action and engages the Conquerant, but does no damage. The French fight back, with the Westminster going down to the Soleil Royal. The Sabre has moved south to get out of the way as the Notre Dame sails in, trying to save Le Charlemagne, damaging the Botany Bay extensively. The concentration of French ships is great, and the battle zone is becoming chaotic, not to mention cramped. Ships back up practically into the cursed home island as they come through the whirlpools. The Premier Republique dismasts an English ship. She still seeks vengeance on the St. James, but figures that will come in good time. The Sabre has a frustrating turn at the guns, as not a single cannon or switchblade finds its mark against the HMS Ironwood. The Spanish attack continues, and with much success. The Thomas Jefferson is reduced to fire masts, and the Vengeance has been reduced to 2 masts. The hired Viking ships are still floating, but have been cut down like a hot knife through butter. The Santissima engages and sinks the Vengeance and the Thomas Jefferson. For added measure, the Trinidad easily sinks the Skinflare. Roberto Santana has been a tremendous benefit to this ship, as well as her additional 3S cannons, and Master Gunner Rogelio Vasquez, giving all of them L range. In a flash, half of the American resistance has been wiped out, creating a large space of open water in an active battlefield. Given an extra action, the Trinidad continues her carnage, sinking the Viking ships, derelict Cheyenne, and damaging the Gemstone. The Trinidad was just getting started, however, as their second and third tier of cannons opened fire and sank the Mila Okuo in port, as well as the Gemstone. With the various extra actions and accurate cannons, the Trinidad sank close to 10 ships in one turn. Not wanting to be second fiddle to the Trinidad, the remaining Spanish ships fall upon what is left of the Americans. The Roanoke is sunk, and the Munin is dismasted by the Mano de Dios. A wide shot shows that the Spanish have essentially destroyed what was left of the American battle fleet. The Neptuno is taking a derelict back to their trading port on Pride Rock, and the Acorazado surveys the scene. The Spanish have managed to salvage some of their ships. The Trinity is somehow still alive and repairing at the trading port, as is the Ocean's Edge Acorazado, who once again flies the color of Spain. Other notable surviving ships include the Galleon de Gibraltar and the San Cristobal. The captured Black Watch sinks the fleeing Bonhomme Richard, as the Destiny engages the Flying Dutchman in the background. Incredibly, the Destiny managed to knock a mast off of the Dutchman. Not wanting to deal with the Destiny and having other things to do, the Dutchman sails away, leaving the Destiny to the Divine Dragon. Getting all of her cannons in range, the Dutchman successfully broadsided the trading port on Pyramid Island, destroying it. Gog Clock sinks the Gold Eagle. The Americans are quickly losing ships. Adding to their woes, the Cursed have used the Sea Hag to cut off and intercept their gold runners. Here she has cut off the Oregon and dismasted the ship. The Yaochuan catches up to and sinks the Carolina. The King Jones dismasts the Constitution, but fire spreads on her as she does so. The pirates sink the last Viking ship hired by the Americans. Pirates continue to sail toward the American home island. The now massive cursed battle fleet is aimed roughly at the Americans, even though it is close to the Spanish and the French. The cursed were going to sail for the Americans and wipe them out, but the presence of the pirates and the Spanish has given them pause. The Executioner ends her turn on a reef, not taking any damage. The cursed have met the conditions to build their custom fort Aguinvari Gacalli, and do so on the reef attached to Pyramid Island. If Aguinvari is built on a reef, it will allow for sea creatures to dock and repair there. The cursed also wants the special edition Nightmare from Davy Jones' Curse at their home island. She rests alongside the repairing Skinflare. The Superior cripples the Fuerza de Dios. Even as hobbled as they are, the Americans continue to fight. That said, they face reality and begin to fall back to their home island. The Kentucky and President make for home, while the Gauntlet, one of the last 2 capital ships they have, set sail to try and defend against their now numerous foes. The Americans are still sitting on quite a lot of gold, but have more or less run out of ships to launch. The Constitution was saved by the New Orleans, and is repairing and preparing for her final stand. The swift Victory tries to engage the oncoming pirates, but is cancelled by the mercenary Rampage, who has that ability built in. The Americans load their guns and make final repairs. The Congress in Louisiana will attempt to hold back the pirates, along with the silver dollar. Count Gustav was on the Rampage, and succeeded at his extra action. The Rampage first sank the swift Victory, and then sailed ahead and crossed the bow of the President and dismasted the ship. Even though Voyonui has sunk, the pirates still maintain a strong grip on the area, and thanks to the military port on Tutorial Island. The pirates are suspicious of the Cursed and their movements through pirate waters. The Chum Maker sails alongside the pirate chain, followed closely by the Dragon's Breath. The pirates tighten their grip as gunships tear into the Americans. The Zeus is closing in, and the LE Fool's Hope has sunk the Philadelphia. The English have a big turn as they finally manage to sink 2 French capital ships. The Revolution and Charlemagne are sent to the depths, and the English cheer. Somehow, the English manage to sink the Mont Blanc flotilla. The St. James sinks the Glory. The battleship Stout sails ahead with an extra action and hits twice to sink the Dauphine Royale. English ships surge forward, but fail to damage the Notre Dame, putting them at risk of retribution on the French turn. The English continue to have a bad day at cannons, as the Nautilus misses twice on the Sabre, eliminating only 1 mast. Failure on one side of the portal is marked with success on another. The Ark Royal and Guy Fawkes have dismasted the Gowl. Even with backup in the Ironwood and another ship, the Sabre is still reasonably healthy, much to the annoyance of the English. Finally, some shots connect, and the Sabre suddenly seems vulnerable. The Concorde uses her long-range cannons in an extra action and sinks the Premier Republique, instantly raising English morale. The Signet crosses the bow of the Possession and La Gowl, but is unable to damage either ship. The Signet is followed by the LE Apollo, who does connect with her cannons on La Gowl. The area just south of the northern portal is crowded and chaotic, as masts and spars pile up in the water. Lee Gowl is sunk, adding to the chaos and the despair of the French. The Stout was caught between the guns of Paradis de la Mer and the Conquérant, and was quickly sunk. The Aube is finished repairing and eager to get back into the action. Realizing her vulnerability, the Sabre sails away from the active battle zone toward what should be safe waters. Pippin Bernadotte and the Terror continue to be a bother to the English, as they sink the London. The Grand Vanquir sails north and cuts off access to the portal, setting the Gallant aflame in the process. Concentrated fire from several ships finally sinks the HMS Burma. The combined storm moves toward the Spanish trading port on Pride Rock. The ice floe moves east again, once again slamming into the cursed battle flotilla. An iceberg not attached to the floe slams into the rising sun, annoying the pirates and Havana Black. And Matt wraps up this report. We're getting close to the end, and many things are still to come. So if you want to see what happens next, make sure you're subscribed. If you liked what you saw, hit that like button. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you all next time.